హలో సార్,
Yes, tell me. Tell me.
రేపు 3 to 4 హైడ్రాలిక్ స్ట్రక్చర్స్ సార్ తీసుకుంటా అన్నారు సార్.
Poisonly flow. Then we'll consider flow down inclined plane with pressure gradient. In the first case, the flow is between parallel plates which are horizontal. Now, in the second case, there is an inclined plate and there is a pressure gradient. Then the third application is what is known as Hazen-Poisonly flow, which is very common practical application, that is the flow through a circular pipe. Then we will consider flow through annular space between two cylinders. So this is called a generalized Hazen-Poisonly flow. That means there are two concentric cylinders and the flow is taking place between them. Either the cylinders may be vertical or horizontal or at any inclination. Then the next case is, again, it is a flow between two cylinders, but the cylinders are rotating. So one cylinder will be rotating with one angular velocity and the other will be rotating with another angular velocity. Or one of them may be stationary and the other may be moving. Then the next case is two-phase flow. Then the seventh and eighth cases as per our syllabus are Stokes' first problem and Stokes' second problem. Now let us go to the generalized procedure for solving these practical applications. So first of all, what you have to do is, you have to sketch the problem and choose the coordinate system such that the boundary conditions can be easily written. So if it is a parallel flow between parallel plates, it is better to select Cartesian coordinates. If it is flow through a circular pipe, the cylindrical coordinates are suitable. Similarly, flow between the rotating cylinders also, we prefer the cylindrical coordinates like that. So we have to select the coordinate system. Then from the physical situation of the problem, we have to list down the assumptions and identify the boundary conditions. Then the third step is to write down the continuity equation and Navier-Stokes equations and simplify them using the assumptions and boundary conditions. Then solve the simplified equations by integration. Now, when you integrate, you will be getting certain constants of integration, and these constants of integration can be arrived or determined by applying the boundary condition. So that is the fifth step. Then sixth step is verify the solution by backward substitution in differential form. And finally, calculate the shear stress, not Schaefer. It is a typo error. I will correct it. Shear stress and other parameters of interest to completely solve the problem. So this is the procedure. Now let us consider one after the other these equations, these applications. First, I am going to consider the flow between two parallel plates, out of which one plate is fixed and the other plate is moving with a velocity u, as shown here. So it is flow between a fixed and a moving plate. Now the force causes plate to move with velocity v and the fluid deforms continuously. Now this is a fixed plate and this is a moving plate, and when you apply a force, the plate will be moving with velocity v, and the fluid in between these two plates will be deforming. So the velocity of the bottom plate, fixed plate, is 0, and this is moving with velocity u. Now, that is the case of one fixed plate and the other moving plate. Now, suppose we consider another application. The other application is there are two plates and both of them are fixed. So when both the plates are fixed, how can you expect the flow in between the plates? The flow is possible only when you maintain a certain pressure difference between upstream point and downstream point. So both the flow here, you just forget about this. I'll you forget about this. This I have forgotten to remove. So when a certain pressure difference is maintained between this surface and this surface, the flow will be taking place and there will be a deformation. So initially, if the fluid is here, it will deform and this will move. Now, let us now consider the third case. The third case is flow through a long straight pipe. So there is a straight pipe which is long and it is straight and the flow is taking place in between. So fluid is in contact with the pipe wall and has the same velocity as the wall. Now this is the pipe. This is the pipe. So the fluid will be in contact with the pipe wall here as well as here. So what will be the velocity here at this point? What is the velocity of fluid at this point? And at this point, it will be
0.
Because the pipe is not moving, so the velocity here will be 0. And the velocity here also is 0. And at the midsection, the velocity will be maximum as shown. So this is the next case. Flow through a long straight pipe. Now we are considering x direction and the velocity is indicated by u. Now this velocity u, as I told, will be 0 at this and at this. So if we just want to identify this physical occurrence in mathematical terms, I can say that the velocity of the fluid at r is equal to, at radius small r by 2, this is r. So at this and this, the velocity is 0. So that is the condition we will get. Next. Now we will start applying the concepts for solving the practical problems. So first, all of you know these things and these are very, very important and you have to remember them forever. See, it is of course very easy to remember, especially in Cartesian coordinates, which is not at all difficult. So the things which you have to remember are two. One is the continuity equation, and these are the momentum equations or Navier-Stokes equations. So these two things you have to remember. Now in this case, actually, we have considered the flow to be incompressible. So that is rho is equal to constant. Rho is equal to constant. So then only our original continuity equation can be simplified to this form. So this is local acceleration term. These three are the convective acceleration terms. This is the pressure gradient term. This is the body force term. And these are the viscous stress terms, x direction. So here you will get all u's. Dou by dou t, dou by dou x, dou by dou y, dou by dou z, dou by dou x, dou by dou x, dou by dou y, dou by dou z, and u. So in y direction, all these things will be v, and this will be t, x, y, z, and this will be v, and this is y square. And similarly in z direction, it will be w, dou by dou t, local acceleration, dou by dou x, dou by dou y, dou by dou z. You will see UVW, UVW, UVW. So this is how you can remember. Now, this is actual problem. Now there are two plates. So there is a narrow gap and the fluid is moving. This is the inlet, this is the exit. And the width is considered large. And this is the top plate and this is the bottom plate. This is x direction, this is y direction, z direction. Now, see this figure I have taken for convenience, and the gap here is shown as 2D. But in our subsequent working out, we may use some other parameter here. Now, this is the fixed plate. This is the moving plate. This is moving with velocity v, and the distance between the two plates is h. And the fluid is having density rho and viscosity mu. So first one, if you recall what I told earlier, for the procedure, sketch the problem and choose coordinate system such that boundary conditions can be easily written. Then list the assumptions, write down the equations, solve the simplified, apply boundary conditions. So we are going to follow these steps. For the given geometry and boundary conditions, calculate the velocity and pressure fields. So our aim is to calculate the velocity and the pressure fields and estimate the shear force per unit area acting on the bottom plate. So what is the first step? Geometry, the dimensions and properties. So this is geometry. These are the dimensions and properties. Now, second step is identify the assumptions and boundary conditions. What are the assumptions? Plates are infinite in x and z direction. So it is a long plate, as I indicated in this figure. See, it is a long plate in x direction and in z direction. Then flow is steady. So this is one assumption we are going to make. That means we are going to solve the problem for a steady flow. Then parallel flow. So the flow is taking place between the plates in the parallel direction. That means what? This is the flow direction. So that means there is no velocity in this direction. So flow is taking place only in the direction of the arrow shown. And incompressible, Newtonian and laminar. So this we are taking incompressible, that means rho is equal to constant, so that we can consider the continuity equation in this form. In the presence of rho, actually it will be the correct continuity equation is dou by dou rho u by dou x everywhere you will have rho. See, here you will have rho, here you will have rho, and here you will have rho, and all the three rows are taken outside and they are written in this way. So rows are taken outside and we'll get. So only when we assume the flow to be incompressible, that row can be brought outside. So that is the fourth assumption. And the fifth assumption is, of course, it is an assumption which is for QRT flow. Bondra is the type of flow in the absence of pressure gradient is what is referred as QRT flow. So this is the characteristic feature of QRT flow. Then the next assumption is the flow is two-dimensional. So that means again going to back to this figure, we have x and y. So there are no variations with respect to this z direction. గుడ్ బాగుందిరా. ఈ డ్రెస్ పంపించాడా? ఫోటో తీసి వాళ్ళకి పెట్టండి మళ్ళీ. Of this two-dimensional flow is valid when you consider large width. When you consider large width for all flows except very close to this end path. So this entire region, the central part, the flow will be only having two-dimensional flow. So there will not, but what happens at the ends is that there may be some cross flows. So that assumption of two-dimensional flow will be unrealistic at the ends. So we will only consider the flow in the middle part of the entire thing. What is the next assumption? Gravity acts in y direction. So that means we are identifying the x-axis as horizontal, y-axis as vertical, and z-axis as transverse direction. So by this assumption 7, gravity acts in y direction means the body force will be present only in y direction, and the body force component in x and z directions will be 0. That is what we get. So after considering these assumptions and looking at the figure, once again I will project the figure. So with respect to this figure and the boundary conditions, this is a fixed plate, this is a moving plate. Okay. So bottom plate, that means y is equal to 0. The velocity is 0 because it is fixed, it is not moving. And all along the bottom plate, not only UB is 0, but V and W are also 0. Then top plate, which is located at y is equal to h, the velocity in x direction is V, and in y and z directions it is 0 because only there is flow in between the plates in parallel flow. So the components V and W, small v and small w are 0. So these are the two boundary conditions. Now what we do, the third step. Now the third step is simplify the equations. Now I am here projecting this. Now what we have the continuity equation is dou u by dou x plus dou v by dou y plus dou w by dou z is equal to 0. Now this dou v by dou y will vanish. Why? These numbers refer to the assumptions on the previous slide. What is the previous slide? The previous slide, assumptions 3 and 6. 3 is parallel flow and 6 is W is equal to 0 and dou by dou z is equal to 0. So from this, what we get is dou u by dou x is equal to 0. That is what we get. So we get this from the continuity equation. The final result is this. Now what is the meaning of this? Dou u by dou x is equal to 0. That means u is not dependent on x. U is not a function of x. Dou u by dou x is equal to 0 means u is not a function of x. Because any function of x, when differentiated with respect to x, will not give zero value. Only an expression which doesn't contain x or a constant will satisfy the condition dou dou x of fx is equal to 0. So therefore, dou u by dou x is equal to 0 means that u is not a function of x, but it can be a function of y. So this is what we get. So this is what we get. Now, this means the flow is fully developed or not changing in the direction of flow. So the flow is fully developed. Next, we'll consider the x direction momentum equation, Navier-Stokes equation. Now this equation, again, this x momentum equation. Now here I have shown which terms will vanish. Now dou u by dou t will vanish. Why? Second assumption. What is the second assumption? Second assumption is the flow is steady. Dou by dou t is equal to 0. So that is how it is. Then this dou u by dou x also will vanish. How we got here? Continuity equation. Then dou u by dou y is equal to 0 from third, because v is equal to 0. Oh, sorry, dou by dou y is 0 and v is 0 because v is equal to 0. Third assumption. Go back to third assumption. Third assumption, parallel flow, v equal to 0. So v is equal to 0. Dou u by dou y is not equal to 0 because u is a function of y. You look at this. This is very, very important. See, this is not equal to 0. But v equal to 0. So therefore, this term also vanishes. This term vanishes, this term vanishes, this term vanishes. Then, sixth assumption. Sixth assumption is, you can see, W is equal to 0. Two-dimensional flow. And dou by dou z is 0. So from that, this is 0. So on the left-hand side, all the four terms are zeros. Then coming to right-hand side, dou p by dou x is equal to 0 by fifth assumption. What is fifth assumption? No pressure gradient. So therefore, This term also is 0. Then rho gx, this term, seventh assumption. What is seventh assumption? Seventh assumption is gravity acts in the y direction. So our y direction is vertical. This is y and this is x direction. So when this is y direction, gravity is acting in y direction, minus y direction. So this is the component of body force. So what is its component in x direction? If I say it is g suffix x, it will be 0. Because if you resolve any vertical force in the horizontal direction, it will not be there. So therefore, that is the reason why we have taken the second term on the right hand side as 0. This. Then coming to the shear stress terms, why this is 0? You have got here dou u by dou x as 0. So naturally, dou square u by dou x square will also be 0. Then u is a function of y. So dou square u by dou y square need not be 0. We do not know. So dou square u by dou y square will be there as it is. So here this is absent, 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 this is absent. And why this is absent? Because it is two-dimensional flow and sixth assumption. Same here. Dou by dou z is equal to 0. So dou by dou z and dou square by dou z square 0. Sixth assumption, you can see. Dou by dou z is equal to 0. So therefore, finally what we are left with, so this is the one which you are left with. So this is the simplified form of momentum equation in x direction. So keep it aside. Keep it aside. We will consider y momentum equation. Now y momentum equation again can be simplified in this way. This is 0 because steady flow as well as V is 0. This is 0 because V equal to 0. This is 0 because V equal to 0. This is 0 because V equal to 0 and dou by dou Z is 0. So these are the assumption numbers. Then on the right hand side, we do not know about this. Leave it as it is. And this is not 0 because y direction is vertical. So there will be a body force in the vertical direction. The only thing is here we'll have minus value. Okay, that will come. So then coming to the other things. Because V is equal to 0, all the three terms will be 0. So this equation gets simplified to this form. Now what I have done here is Gy now this is y direction and gravity will be acting in this direction. So this is the body force per unit mass. This is the body force per unit mass. Now, what is Gy according to our definition? Gy is body force per unit mass in y direction. So what is that value? Minus G. Because it is acting downward, so it is minus G. So therefore, if I substitute for this minus G, so this will become minus dou P by dou Y minus rho G is equal to 0, or this is the second equation. So if I take this, I can write this as dou P is equal to rho G dy. And if I integrate it, I'll get P is equal to rho Gy plus a constant. This is second one. Now, we still have the third momentum equation. So, similar assumption, similar procedure of simplification will now give me this values. Rho dou W by dou T, which is 0, U dou W by dou X, this is also 0. You can see this is 0 because two factors. One is steady flow as well as W0, 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 and dou by dou Z 0. Then GZ is 0. It's only rho GZ, not rho GGZ, rho GZ. I'll correct it. Rho GZ. Then this is again 0 because W is 0. So finally, this indicates that P also is not a function of Z. Earlier we got dou P by dou X is equal to 0. That is, P is not a function of X. And P is also not a function of Z. So P is only a function of Y. So that is why we can write P is equal to rho G Y plus constant. Now, the fourth step. Fourth step is integration. So what is that we got? We got d square u by dy square. Actually, we got the partial derivative. But what we have written, I have written here, I have written the total derivative. The reason is function of y alone. So therefore, since it is only a function of one coordinate xi direction, so I can replace the partial derivative by total derivative. So if I integrate this once, d square u by dy square, I will get du by dy is equal to constant. Integral of 0 is constant. Now I can integrate this again. Du by dy is equal to constant. So I will take this and integrate. So this will give me u, which will be a function of y, is equal to C1y plus C2. So this is what we get. This is what we get. Now, of course, we have already done this y momentum equation. Now what we do? We apply the boundary conditions. What is it that we got? See, we got this. This is the equation. So now take this equation and use our boundary conditions. What are the boundary conditions? See, these are the boundary conditions. At y is equal to 0, u is equal to 0. So our equation is u is equal to C1 y plus C2. So if you substitute the boundary conditions, what you get is this equation you get. This is what you get. So that means if this is the plate, bottom plate, fixed, and this is the top plate moving, so the velocity will be varying from the bottom plate to the top plate in a triangular distribution. This is a linear variation. U is equal to V y by h. This is a linear variation. See, this is a straight line variation. Linear variation. Okay, now for the pressure, there is no explicit boundary condition. So therefore, whatever we got earlier is same. Now what we got was, this was what we got. P is equal to rho g by plus some constant. So now what we do is, we'll say that P is equal to P naught at y is equal to 0. So now C3 is simply renamed as P naught. That's all. Because Our equation is P is equal to minus rho G. So P naught minus rho G. So this is what is called as the hydrostatic pressure. So at P is equal to, at Y is equal to 0, at Y is equal to 0, we are taking the pressure as P naught. So if you substitute in this equation, P naught is equal to 0 plus C3. P naught is equal to C3. So P is equal to P naught plus P is equal to P naught plus rho Gy. Now only here why we have written this as minus rho Gy is the reason I will tell you. Why we are measuring vertically upwards? Now we know that the pressure reduces in the upward direction. So therefore, to account for that, we have introduced a minus sign for the constant, and the pressure at any point above will be less by this pressure at bottom point by a value which is equal to the product of rho G and Y. So this is nothing but gamma Y. So the pressure acts independently of the flow. So it has got nothing to do with the flow because no expression related to velocities are involved in this expression. Now let me proceed further. So the negative significance of negative sign I have explained because the pressure will be diminishing or reducing in the vertical direction. So the last step is verify the solution by back substitution. So if you verify, you will get it. Now, the ultimate thing is calculate the shear force on the bottom plate. Now here I will stop. Now what I will do is this particular part which I have told till now, I will send you the PDF part. Now you go through it. Then tomorrow will continue and have a discussion on it. And any points which you could not clearly understand, you point out to me. And before proceeding to the next case, which is the Poiseuille flow, we'll discuss that and then proceed to the Poiseuille flow. Right? So let me stop here and I will send you the PDF file.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Force on the bottom plate. Look at this figure. See, this is the bottom plate. This is bottom plate. And on this bottom plate, the shear stresses will act. The plate is in this way. So this is the plate. So there will be two pairs of shear stresses. See, one pair is tau yx as shown here, and tau yx. And the other is, of course, here it is shown like this, but actually it will be acting in this direction. Parallel to the plate. So this is tau y. Sorry. Yes, tau. If you consider this plate, 1 minute. I'll erase all these things. See, this is the shear stress notation which you had on. I'll go back to the earlier slide and show the things. How we have defined the shear stress tensor. This is the one. Tau xx, tau xy, tau xz. So this is xyz, x, xyz, y, xyz, z. So the same notation we'll take there and I will illustrate there. So this is tau, all are taus. So I am eliminating writing that. So this is the second is always x. This is x, y, z. So the second term is x, x, x. So this is y, x, y, y y and zy. This is xz, yz, this is zz. So this term, if you again look back there, that term is see, this is the one, and this of course is dropped. So this is tau xy, xx, and this is the expression for tau xx, xy, and tau yx. This is the expression for tau zy and tau yz, and this is the expression for, and the simplified form will be this. Dropping P, assuming that the pressure is absorbed in the surface test. Already the pressure term is considered, so this can be dropped. So this is the shear stress term due to shear stress. So these are the three. So now use the simplifications we have. Dou u by dou x. What is dou u by dou x? According to our assumptions, according to our assumptions, what is dou u by dou x? This is 0. And what is dou v by dou x? Dou v by dou x also is 0. And this is 0. This is 0. Then this is 0. 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 And this entire thing is 0. So you will be left with this, which is tau xy, and this, which is tau yx. So that is what has been written there. So finally, you can see this term you have and this term you have. So this is 0. As I told, this is 0 and this is 0 and this entire thing is 0 and this is 0. 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 So what is our expression for U? U is Vy by H. So using this, U is equal to V Y by H. So what is dou U by dou Y? Is equal to dou U by dou Y equal to V by H. So therefore, minus mu dou U by dou Y is equal to mu V by H. That minus sign is dropped, just considering the appropriate direction. Because if you consider this, this is the shear stress due to the fluid. So the shear stress on the plate will be in opposite direction. See, here I have written. Note that tau W is equal and opposite to the shear stress acting on the fluid. So therefore, the shear stress will be Vy by H. So that is the shear force per unit area. Stress is nothing but shear force per unit area. Stress is equal to force by area. So this is the expression for shear force. Is it clear? No, all of you respond.